allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jenny, would you take the roll? Austriaco? Here. Vessler? Here. Collins? Here. Coyle? Here. Lee? Here. Sullivan? Owen? Here. Before we start the meeting, Emily, tonight, I was hoping everyone could please join all of us in a moment of silence to honor those who died in the horrific shooting in Las Vegas last night, and to show support for those who were injured, the many, many who were injured, along with their loved ones, and the many healthcare workers and others who are working to help all involved and who are impacted by this. Thank you very much.
Before we do our Till 7 test tonight, I want to recognize our 3 high school principals. This is High School Principals Month, and he is going to hold one, so we'll try to do something every day, just like every day. But in all sincerity, we ask a lot of our buildings. We ask more today of our buildings than we've ever asked, and our buildings are doing more, our kids are doing more than they've ever done. And that's not an opinion, that's based on fact. Like every measurable outcome of our students, they're doing more today than ever. Our challenge indexes have doubled in the last decade. Our percentage of students doing accelerated and college work of other kinds is above 50%. In a few years, it'll be 60, and we'll find out it'll be 75. So year after year after year, our percentage of students leaving Maine Township who are graduating college continues to go up. We're at all-time highs. So the outcomes that matter for our students are as good as they've ever been, and we're still trying to find out what's better. And we never stop doing that. We ask a lot of our principals, we ask a lot of our buildings, and without their leadership, we could not do the things that we've done in District 207. So in recognition of our 3 wonderful principals, I'm going to throw Sean in here too as well, who has just left the principalship of Maine South, having achieved our first 3.0 challenge index in any of our high schools in the district, and coming over to serve as assistant superintendent for curriculum instruction. Ben obviously is new at Maine South, and Mike and Audrey have been in their positions at East and West Florida. And each of those 2 buildings along the South is literally performing the best it's ever performed. And we can absolutely do that today. And so without the leadership of our principals, we simply don't do the things that we're ready to do for our students. So I want to stop before we recognize the kids, and let's recognize the really special people.
Okay, now we will move along to one of our favorite portions of the meeting, and we will start with, this is the best award for academic achievement for our students this month, and we'll start with Maine West.
All right, I'd like to introduce to you Matthew Montanelli. Matthew is honestly one of the most well-rounded students you're ever going to meet. He is ridiculously smart, ridiculously funny, ridiculously inquisitive. He's kind of scary in a lot of ways, and I'll read some quotes in a funny way as well. That Matthew does it all at Maine West. He's just that student that you want to have in your class. His English teacher from last year, Mr. Joe Walsh, said, Matthew exemplifies the very best of the qualities that we strive to instill in all of our students: intellectual curiosity, a strong sense of empathy, an inexhaustible work ethic, and great leadership. And I would add to that a terrific sense of humor that makes him so well-rounded. And he said a great quote about himself this summer. He was featured in the blogs that I did on students at Maine West, and he wrote this quote about himself. Recognizing the world to be a complex and diverse place, I'm always willing to expand my understanding of it. In a similar way, I'm also very passionate. Whether it be through the guitar at home or the trombone in the school band, music has allowed me to think creatively and connect with others. finally, in what might be my most ambitious effort yet, my comedic foolishness leaves me wrapping the timeless tales of Geoffrey Chaucer and sharing a laugh with friends. So just a short blurb about himself tells you a lot about him. His AP psychology teacher from last year said it extremely well as well. She said students in the class would joke when they were having a discussion and say, please let me contribute before Matthew, because I don't want to go after him. Or she commonly heard, ditto what Matthew said, because he had said it all. So really unique student in AP Psych and did a really nice job. She misses you in the class this year. He's the chief editor of the Westerner, and where his sponsor says where most students will dive somewhat deeply into a topic, Matthew will go super deep into that topic and find the person at the top to interview. He's done interviews with some really impressive people at IBM. He did a data analysis article that was notable and honored at an awards assembly. He was also honored by his AP English teacher from last year, Mr. Walsh. I read one quote about him. He said his empathetic and thoughtful nature was made apparent both by his approach to the literature he read in class and by the leadership he provided in the classroom on a daily basis. Meaning he was willing to help other students in the class without being arrogant about it and with just showing his sense of intelligence through a very amicable way. So really neat person. And then finally, Mr. G, his band director, says, Matthew is a senior leader in the band, and he's truly one of the finest musicians that I have had the pleasure to work with in my 19-year tenure at Maine West. That great talent is paired with a calm, professional demeanor that makes others feel very comfortable around him. Matt's determination and hard work in all his academic and extracurricular activities make him a force to be reckoned with. Our future looks bright if a student like Matthew is at the helm. He's taken the most difficult classes at Maine West, AP and accelerated everything. He's got above a 4.0 GPA. He's way at the top of that class. So he's obviously one of 207's best, and we're pleased to honor him today. Matthew, tell them what your summer internship was with the Field Museum. What were you doing?
Well, actually, thanks to the great staff that we have at Maine West, I was able to coordinate an internship with some anthropologists who were working with the Field Museum to excavate different skeletons of Native Americans that they had in the museum's collection. We collected data on it. It was really like an enlightening, fulfilling experience for me to participate in, and I got to do that over the summer. So yeah, I was really grateful for that experience.
Okay, who's here with you here tonight?
My mom.
Okay. And what are your plans next year?
Well, as I see it now, I'll hopefully be studying philosophy, psychology, and neuroscience at Washington University in St. Louis. But I'm still keeping my options open since
I'm a neuroscience fanatic, so I'm all for neuroscience.
Ladies?
Hi, everybody. Welcome. I am very pleased to welcome and introduce our 207's best for academic achievement, Arshita Padia. So, Arshita is, if you have a chance to get to know her a little bit, she's very reserved. Whether that's shy or just reserved, I don't know, but pretty quiet, pretty understated. She has a nice sense of humor from what I hear. But as I got to know more, I became familiar with Arshita last year when she was one of our high fives. So these are kids that score fives on their AP exams. We go out with the faculty and sort of do a little presentation in their homes. When I went into more detail, she's consistently, first of all, she has a GPA of 4.94. That's pretty darn respectable on that GPA scale. She's consistently taken a challenging course load and actually frequently a year or two ahead of time. So when we think about kind of the normal course of where AP happens for our students at Maine, Usually as a sophomore, it's AP European History. In her case, it was also AP Language and AP Computer Science, and AP Chem, in addition to accelerated Spanish. As a junior, she was in AP Lit and Composition, AP Calc BC, AP US History, AP Microeconomics, and AP Bio. And currently this year, I think her schedule is a little lighter with AP Spanish Language, AP Comparative Government and Politics, AP Physics C, AP Psych, and multivariable calculus differential equations. She's also taking guitar, so she has kind of a chance to do a little something different this year. When I always put things out to kind of poll teachers and say, hey, what can you tell me about Rashida, what she's done in class? Some very, very common themes. One of them being that she, Judy Tyler said, science teacher and program director for Gifted Lyceum, said Rashida is probably one of the most intelligent students to pass through our halls. Teachers started contacting me regarding her abilities within weeks of starting her freshman year. She voraciously seeks knowledge, quickly processes and synthesizes new information, and strives for excellence in everything she does. She has a tremendous heart for service, and seeks every opportunity to provide assistance to those in need. When work needs to be done, Rashida always volunteers. Ms. Salomon, again, just said Rashida is a wonderful choice for 207's best, and I'm happy for her. Said in my AP Econ class last year, students wanted to be on her team because she's quite brilliant, and yet there is her neat sense of humor. Rashida has no time for foolishness, and she hates to waste time. Simply put, I treasure that I got to be her teacher last year. The last thing I want to share of the many things I put in the letter was from Wendy Reese. Wendy was freshman or sophomore, freshman English teacher. And then Wendy is also our NHS sponsor. And if you know Wendy, if you don't know Wendy, you should get a chance to meet her. She is a mover and shaker and just gets things done. So when I put this call for information out, in about 5 minutes or so, I got a message from Wendy. I then got something that would have been processed a while later, and I want to read that one to you. Wendy said, Rashida is founder of the AOK Club, a club dedicated to kindness. She enlisted the help of 80 National Honor Society friends to have a sticky note blitz on a Sunday night in February for Random Act of Kindness Week, and the results were amazing. Every single locker, classroom door, and office was brightened by kindness. Rashida is an amazing writer. She's the first student in 23 years that I've ever skipped out of a writing course. By this, I mean she was moved to AP English her sophomore year because of the thoughtful, critical, and stylised writing. She scored 5 on both English and AP exams. What Wendy actually sent to me more immediately, sort of the right visceral from the heart, is what I consider to be an incredible compliment, and I think it's a little lighthearted. She said, Mike, maybe you could figure out a nice way to say this, that she is an absolute academic animal. When I was a teacher, I had this vision in my head that she went home and in her quiet way, shut her bedroom door and attacked her homework like the Tasmanian devil. She has surgical precision when she undertakes a task. Her mind is always on, and I know she makes it seem easy, but her work is so incredibly mature and thoughtful. I know it's not easy because she always pushes herself well beyond my expectations. She may be the smartest darn kid I've ever taught. She said, I'm going to polish that up for you to make it sound more classy. Give me a couple. And again, just a common theme for absolutely every individual. So one other person said, you can sum up her work in 3 words: intensity, precision, and perfection. And I really think that's it. She has set a very high bar. Very pleased that she's a National Merit semifinalist, recognized at this point in that scholarship competition, if you will. Again, she just does tremendous work, and in her quiet way, she is doing great things to make herself proud, her family proud, and certainly all of us at Maine East. Congratulations. Who's here with you tonight?
My mom.
What are your plans next year?
I don't know when I'm going to college yet. Obviously, it's still October, but I'm hoping to study computer science.
Congrats.
I'd like to present Mr. Grant Miller tonight from Mesa. When I was speaking with Grant's teachers, and I went all the way back, and some of them are here tonight, thank you for coming. When I was talking to them all the way back to his freshman year, they all were saying how incredibly insightful and intelligent he was, but to a person, not one person, Grant, you should know, not one person said that as a first thing. They all remarked about how kind you are and how caring you are as a student, how much they loved having you in their class. You've taken literally every single AP class we have to offer, including apparently AP lunch. That's about the challenge of next. That's one of our new course proposals. I mean, literally everything. When I was looking at your transcript, it's absolutely insane. You're also on our nationally recognized C team. Which is one of the really cool things that we offer at Maine South, because I think it really hits home on critical thinking. You own 6 guitars, you're in the juggling club. I actually told Grant he's not allowed to juggle tonight, he asked if he could, so I'm just kidding. But he's also the captain of our basketball team at Maine South, and his basketball coach could not say enough good things about him. Hoping to attend MIT in the fall, studying computer science, and I'll let you tell everybody exactly what you're going to do there in a second, and play again on their basketball team. Intellectually curious is what came up over and over and over again, and actually from one of his teachers, Miss Beth Ann Ball. She talked about one time when Grant read a calculus textbook the summer before he took the class, because we all like to read textbooks before we take classes. But Grant read the entire textbook that summer. And she said, this is typical of Grant. When he is interested in something, he will study it and research it until his hunger for the topic is satiated. He never reached the point of being satisfied in calculus. Grant looks at problems in novel ways. While he solves problems using known algorithms, he then will challenge himself to find alternate ways to solve a problem. Grant grasps new information the first time it is presented, yet he continues to be an active participant as others are learning the topic. He is genuinely interested in mathematical thought and listens to everyone's ideas and struggles. Grant is not motivated by grades or by learning. He has an innate curiosity about the world and is interested in knowing more about it. He is truly an academic. One of Grant's English teachers, Miss Joanna Abend, said, I have had the pleasure of teaching some of the brightest students at Maine South High School for many years, and I can say without hesitation that Grant Miller is one of the most talented young men I have ever met. Without a doubt, he is academically gifted. He grasps challenging concepts quickly and he surpasses expectations in many subject areas. However, what sets him apart is his pure, steadfast, intellectual curiosity. He transformed basic journal entries into reflections on topics such as genetic modification, elementary math education, or even time travel. He turned a creative assignment about transcendentalism into a piece of original music. Can't wait to hear that. In addition to all his academic success, and in my opinion of equal importance, Grant is always humble, kind-hearted, respectful, and open-minded. He's truly one of District 207's best. Grant has also never stepped back from challenging academic endeavors. His chemistry teacher, Miss Monica Langdon, told of a time when Grant took the American Chemical Society Scholarship Examination in Chemistry. For students who have not taken AP Chemistry, Grant got 5th, earning himself $1,500 towards college. His science teacher, Mr. Jack Marino, also told a story of when Grant brought a conceptual question home that generally takes students days to weeks. Well, Grant showed up the next day, had the entire thing laid out, explained it to the class, and then got a standing ovation because it was so thoughtful and elegant. Mr. Belsario and Mr. Curra, both teachers from his freshman year, sent me lengthy emails about his experience in his intelligence and his talent and enthusiasm for learning. They both said from the very first day of school, and these are teachers talking about over 3 years ago, it was evident about what Grant was as a learner. They said he would continue asking questions, and it actually made them better teachers because Grant was in their class. They both remarked about that. So every single teacher, Grant, that I talked to remarked on your character and obviously your academic acumen. One of your teachers, Miss Donna Schwan, called you kind, helpful to your classmates, and supportive of your family. She even remarked that she noticed that you watch and support your younger sister at her soccer games, and she thought that was really great. In Juggling Club, you appear to enjoy life, also with your work in physics with Mr. Debbies, and have fun while still being respectful and responsible. Every teacher that I've talked to has had nothing but the greatest things to say about you, and I think one of the best things that happens with all our alumni here in District 207 and with our alumni at Maine South is that you are absolutely going to make the world a better place. And people are going to be the beneficiaries of your work, and for that, we are so proud and so thankful for everything that you've given here. And we are so excited to see what the future holds for you as you move on. So congratulations. I tried hard, but I still can't wrap my brain around it. Can you tell us what exactly in computer science you would like to study?
I would like to study artificial intelligence and how to create safe artificial intelligence. I think it's going to be very important in the near future technologically.
And specifically, is there an area you were looking at?
Machine learning.
Yeah.
It's a process of teaching a computer to learn through data manipulation.
Like Terminator.
And
who's your guest tonight?
This is my mom and my dad, Laura and Phil.
All right, excellent.
So I studied with John Gabrielli at MIT. John Gabrielli's specialty is reading, how people read. We understand for the first time why some humans don't read. So use artificial intelligence. This is the thing. Use artificial intelligence to move young readers into practicing reading because of growing neural pathways for those that aren't well developed. Dr. John Gabrielli at MIT. There you go. Good luck to you.
We're going to be citing him someday.
That's okay. That's okay.
Really amazing, very different students, but we look forward to hearing all the great things you do in the world. We're really very proud of you.
And parents.
And parents.
Thank
well,
you.
yeah.
Thank you.
At this time, if you'd like to go out, you can have photos taken, and this is your chance to leave the meeting, should you like to do so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'd like to recognize our illustrious state senator, Laura Murphy. Thank you for coming today, Laura. Thank you.
I am particularly honored to be here tonight and inspired by all these young people. You get to see it every day, I'm sure, but for me, it certainly gives us hope that our best days are coming. Definitely the best days are coming. And a tribute to that is the leadership, because leaders do matter. And I'm here tonight because I want to join in the recognition that Dr. Ken Wallace has received from the Illinois Association of Career and Technical Educators and that education process and all that you've done to expand that into the 207 district. So, you know, accolades often get left behind, right? People don't recognize them enough. So for Dr. Wallace was recognized earlier in the year, as I'm sure many of you know, but it never hurts to bring that up again. And apparently you're going to be recognized in December at a conference in Nashville.
Yep.
So I would like to join in that recognition, as well as the 100th General Assembly, and recognize that you are the Champion of the Year by the Association of Career and Technical Education, and we join in the commemorative efforts for recognizing your education, your effort, your dedication, hard work that led to receiving the honor, and we further commend you in your contributions to the improvement, promotion, development, and progress of career and technical education. So offered by myself, John J. Cullerton, Senate President, and Timothy Anderson, Secretary of the Senate.
Here, now let's get out here. Okay. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And I want to thank Senator Murphy as we were progressing through the funding bill scenario here about a month ago. Senator Murphy was in constant communication with the superintendents and really supported the schools in this area, and that was much
Yes,
appreciated.
that's just my job. Thank you for all the hard work that you all do here. And the accolades and the evidence is in those students that we just saw. So congratulations to you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm gonna get some of the principal's cookies.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move along to public comments. Does anyone know if there are any cards there? Okay. All right. Are we going to do the shooter up?
We can do the shooter up that Carly's here, ready to go.
We like to do the shooter up. This is another thing we always look forward to.
Oh my
We do
God.
too, we do too. Thank you guys for having us today. We love coming every year to share with you a little bit about what's new with the Schuler program, to recap you on what we've been up to the past year at Maine High School. So I'm Carly Vance, I'm the school director for the Schuler program at Maine. This is Martin Austin, he's the educational counselor for the Schuler program at Maine. And we're happy to take questions along the way as they come up or at the end, whatever you prefer. So as usual, our primary investment of both time and money in our students happens at the high school stage. We're investing over $10,000 per scholar per year in high school, and that money goes towards mentorship, tutoring, enrichment programs, college visits, college counseling, field trips, etc. And then in college, we're investing over $2,500 per scholar per year, and that includes their small college scholarship as well as other professional development programs and opportunities that we offer our college scholars and our alumni. And this slide just takes a look at our numbers heading into this academic year. We have 12 seniors, 10 juniors, 14 sophomores, and 21 freshmen. We're ending the year with a total of 57 scholars here at Maine East, 601 total across Schuler partner schools. And when we look at our demographics, I'd like to point out that we are growing our Hispanic population in the Schuler program at Maine East High School. Several years ago, that percentage would have been around 5%. We're now at 16%, which we've been doing very intentionally and are pleased about. Our demographic, as you can see, looks different than the demographic profile of Schuler across schools. That's simply a reflection of Maine East High School's demographics. And then down at the bottom, you can see that we are still recruiting low numbers of young men into the program. That is consistent across Schuler schools. However, that's still something we want to learn more about and think about how we can better reach out to the young men who are bright and motivated as well. This slide takes a look at the 3 Schuler profile criteria that we look at when we are determining whether a student is eligible for the program. You can see that year to year we are increasing the number of students we're recruiting, the percentage of students that we're recruiting who are from underrepresented groups on college campuses. And then, as always, year to year, most of the scholars in our program are low income and the first generation college bound in the United States and their families. And we continue to tweak and improve our scholar selection process. If you compare year to year on the left side of the chart, you can see that we invited slightly fewer students to apply to the program last year. We're really trying to make sure that we're only inviting students who have a really strong chance of being academically viable in the program. So we're refining our process. But you can see that it had no impact whatsoever on our number of applications. And in fact, we enrolled our largest class in 4 years last year. So we seem to be really doing a better and better job of refining what students to invite to apply, and that's leading to strong class sizes.
Do you have a limit on how many people you can accept?
No, we don't have a specific number. We're just looking for the students who are a good fit. I think realistically, we could well support up to 30 if we found 30 some students that were really strong fits. We have great space at Maine East, thank you. So we can sustain that. And Martin is going to share some data with you about high school, college, and nutrition data.
Thanks, Carly. So our scholars are performing well both in high school and in college. In high school, they're earning mostly A's and B's in all of their classes, and if we include their electives, they're earning more A's than B's. Earning A's and B's continues to allow them to earn strong both unweighted and weighted GPAs, which continues to make them very strong applicants for selective colleges. My scholars are always embracing challenge and taking the most rigorous courses at Maine East.
About 2/3 of our students last year took at least one AP class or more. This year, over 90% of our scholars are taking at least one AP with our new freshman AP courses as well as AP Physics. They're also performing really well on the AP test. If you can see, they're even performing amongst the highest amongst all of our Schuler Scholar programs. And it's important that we as a program, we like to take a look at not only our strengths, but also our challenges, so that we can continue to grow. This slide takes a look at our attrition. When we look at each class individually, from when they came into the program into when they are, where they are currently now. One thing to note, our rising seniors are actually tracking at a lower attrition rate this year than previous years. When we look at the students that were withdrawn last year, it was mostly for academic reasons, and that's whether they're not earning all A's and B's in their classes or not meeting the GPA requirement for several semesters. We have noted that math continues to be a struggle or one of the subjects that impact our scholars the most. So we as a program are really embracing and trying to learn more about that. We're also looking for ways to equip us as a staff to continue to learn how to support our scholars in that area. And just also when we withdraw students because their grades have gotten to a place where it limits their options within the Schuler colleges. So that's just information. All right, last year we had 10 scholars graduate. They earned an average ACT composite score of 29. Gone on to some really amazing colleges: Bowdoin College, Gaithersburg College, Hamilton College, Lafayette College, Oxford College, and Emory University, Pitzer, Tufts University, and Williams College. And then our scholars earn an average financial aid package without loans at the colleges that they're attending of $58,150. Really exciting. All right. And our data shows that our scholars are not only performing well in high school, but they're going on doing very well in college. Also, our persistence rate throughout college earning strong GPAs. The overall Schuler persistent rate and graduation rate is 89%. And the persistence rate with Schuler at Maine East is 100%.
So of course we like to share data with you, we love data, but we also like to share some more personal anecdotes. So one of our seniors, Christine Pei, we sent her to study abroad in Tanzania last summer. She had a wonderful experience there. Also this past summer, Sebastian Sack, who was a Maine East Schuler Scholar in high school and is now at Tufts studying engineering, he came back to intern with the Schuler program over the summer. He taught computer coding and math enrichment courses to Schuler Scholars at Maine East and also at other Schuler partnership schools. He's actually pictured on the far right. And then we're reaching a really exciting milestone this year. This year, the very first ever class of Schuler Scholars at Maine East are now seniors in college. So they will be graduating in May. We will have our first Maine East Schuler college graduates, which is really exciting for us. And we also just like to share with you some of our goals and the things we're working on for the year ahead. I would say our biggest goal is to improve our retention of underrepresented scholars in our program. So I mentioned earlier in the presentation that we have made big strides in recruiting underrepresented students into our program, which is great. However, we are withdrawing those students disproportionately. They are mostly due to academic reasons. And so, of course, that's something we care very much about, and we're trying to take a look at and see what can we do and how can we improve as a program to address that. One thing that we noticed last year is that some of our students, our freshmen, were coming in very bright, very motivated, very capable, but some of them didn't have a complete understanding of what was expected in an accelerated or AP class, and some of them hadn't yet been taught or hadn't mastered some of the skills and habits and behaviors needed to really thrive in those classes. So they have the potential, they just hadn't mastered those skills quite yet. And so what we're really focusing on in everything we do freshman year with our scholars this year is making sure that we are explicitly naming those expectations for students, and that we are also teaching and reinforcing the skills and habits that are going to directly translate into success in the classroom. Our second major goal is to better understand and address our scholars' struggles in math. As Martin said, most of the time, if our students, our scholars are earning a C or below in something, it's math or a math-based subject. So first of all, we want to better understand why that is. And second of all, we want to see what we can do about it. And we, as a Maine East Schuler staff, have already spent time this year in professional development trying to understand what can each of us do to actively and concretely support our students' math success. Our third goal is to strengthen our male recruitment. We invite about the same number of young men and young women to apply, but fewer young men show up to our information meetings. And those information meetings are where the applications get handed out and the process really gets rolling. And so what we are really targeting is how can we get more young men into the door to those information meetings. One thing we're going to try this year is to make phone calls home to young men who seem like they'd be very strong candidates, touch base with them and their parents, remind them of the meeting, remind them of our program, and also just reiterate that we do indeed think they would be really strong candidates for the program. And then lastly, we just want to say a prize of important district and school changes. This year we had some pretty significant AP classes come on that were new. We know the shift to the hybrid schedule is coming, and so we're making sure that we are staying up to date and preparing for those changes as well. So that's what we have to share with you today. Anybody have any questions for us?
Yes. Can you go back to slide 10?
Sure. I can't see the numbers. Can you
Okay,
start?
the one with pie chart.
11.
Yeah. That,
There you go, right there.
yeah.
Okay, you can't do anything about academic dishonesty, and you can't do anything about the kid that moved. Is self-withdrawal another word for academic dishonesty?
No, self-withdrawal is when a student decides that the mission of the Schuler program no longer aligns with their goals. So in this particular case, the student decided that his long-term plans did not any longer align with Schuler. So Schuler is one great way to college, but it's a specific narrow path, right? We're looking at private selective colleges. Some students decide that that's not what they want. They'd like a bigger in-state public university, Oakton, or they have other plans that they're interested in pursuing, and sometimes it takes them a couple of years to figure that out. And so the student figured that out, decided this wasn't a fit, and said, thank you, but no thank you.
Okay, so you commented on the fact that you're losing the large group of minorities through the academic loss, this is a group of 6. Any plan to implement remediation? And,
Yeah.
and I know it's tough to turn around when you've got a single track of success planned out for Schuler, but I hate to lose these 6 kids that you've actually invested time and money in.
Sure, sure, and I will say that, you know, academic withdrawal, to some degree, is going to happen within Schuler. It's impossible to perfectly predict or for a student to fully understand when they're 13 and an 8th grader what it's going to look like for 4 years in high school to be operating in all Excel and AP classes. Part of that is going to be a part of our reality, but certainly I don't think we think the percentage right now is where we want to be. So we absolutely do, our scholars focus on a mix of both enrichment and remediation, and what we're trying to find is that sweet spot between the two, where everything we're doing is enriching but also really addressing concrete needs in the classroom. For certain students, if you get a certain amount of C's or a certain GPA over time on your transcript, you simply don't have many great options among selective colleges anymore. When we get to that point, when a student doesn't have great options within our pool of institutions, that's when it doesn't become a fit and when we decide to part ways. So that's where we got with those students. Our goal is to not get there with as many students. Once they get there, there's not much we can do. We certainly absolutely still offer many services like tutoring and college counseling, but there's not much we can do to keep a student formally in the program when we don't have many options for them anymore.
And, you know, I would have to say, Ken, that it kills me just a little bit to say I've learned something from you, but I believe that what I've learned from you is that absolutely every student academically deserves a second chance. Maybe there's something we can do, Mike, to create a secondary ramp for these 6 or the ones that wash out of Schuler.
Sure.
Without term. But, you know, these are huge successes just to have even gotten into this program. I hate to lose them, and I hate to demoralize them, and that's what I learned from you. Give them another chance, give them a chance to prove it, but maybe it's another track that we have inside the school.
Well, the one thing I would add too is for all these kids, again, we're looking at 6 students, so
Right.
It's not come as a surprise, and it's been 2 or sometimes 3 semesters. A lot of times there's some significant issues going on in the family where they're overextended in terms of what they do. And Schuler, while we say, while it's not coming as a huge surprise, I think sometimes kids are really, maybe a little bit, but they're also continuing, if that student wishes to continue to receive the assistance in terms of the tutoring and academic support, Schuler's going to stick by every kid who started with them until they are no longer students at Maine East. So I think there are a lot of opportunities, and there's some other things where a kid, as I said, may not do Schuler, but they're actually in really pretty good shape for UIC or Loyola or.
They may be in gifted by I mean, one of the things that's kind of cool is I think Schuler definitely shows the strength of these kids, but they're also showing the strength of Maine East. Because if you look at similar schools, the Maine East kids do, in fact, Schuler always says this is their, signature program in some ways. So I think that the overall strength of East and how it does school is really good on that front, but I agree with you.
Any chance we can get a report on these kids? Because if you're losing 6 a year, for example.
We do track students. So one nice thing about students who start in our program, even if they don't finish with our program, is that they are assigned to Al Ibrahimovic at Maine East, who is the career and college counselor. So he knows them from the beginning when they're in Schuler. If they exit us, they're still with him. And they're in really good hands to be thinking about their future ahead. And we do stay in touch with most students who end up either exiting themselves or being withdrawn for other reasons. We have, since we've been here for 8 years, we certainly have students who have gone through high school and they go to college. They go to great colleges. Some of them even go to selective colleges. And so we hear a lot of great news about what happens to scholars, even when they're not formally scholars anymore.
Not that I'm a big one for board reports, but I think that would be
okay. We absolutely track those kids that did not graduate from Schuler, kind of see where they are.
Carly, I just want to link back to something you said about math being a kind of a hurdle, and also some of the kids coming in not really being prepared for the rigor of like an accelerated class. Is there anything that, maybe not you, but we can do that, our feeder schools to help them get the kids ready?
Sure.
Actually, that was my next question. No, that's because this math issue is really a big issue, especially for exactly all the criteria. All the criteria for Schuler scholars, all those kids and they have a math deficiency.
Right.
And have you ever tried like math boot camps?
Sure. So we do a lot of enrichment and remediation and preparation over the summer, and almost 90% of it is math. For example, for our incoming freshmen, they spent 4 weeks, 4 hours a day with Glenn Olson in math over the summer for a month. So we definitely do some pretty intensive math preparation over the summer for our incoming freshmen, incoming sophomores, incoming juniors, and everyone to different degrees and in different ways. And so math is definitely our focus, especially in that summertime. I think where we're at as a program is needing to evaluate, are we spending that math time as effectively as possible, right? Because if we're still having these results, maybe we can be doing something even more effective with that time we're spending in math. So that's where we as a program are with our thought process now. I think as far as the school, I think I can only say what I hear from students, and what I hear from students is they report feeling like there's a big difference. I'm not telling anyone anything that we haven't heard between middle school and high school math. And that jump, especially into accelerated, can feel very, very big for them. That's something I hear again and again from our freshmen.
So, and we met with Schuler the other day and talked about this, and we met in the cabinet, and on my list of things to do tomorrow is an invite for elementary superintendents. One of the things we're going to try to do, and it won't be specific to Schuler, it'll be specific to, we have a lot of kids who come to us under-enriched. And we're going to invite our elementary partners to do something in the summer to create enrichment programs for students as early as they want to begin. I don't care if it's kindergarten, frankly. Using our students, we're trying to get some university partners who might reimagine some of their field experiences as a part of this. To begin trying to do things at the elementary level to answer some of this question. I've been asking our elementary partners for several years to think about how they can accelerate, how they can accelerate, how they can accelerate, to put a lot of emphasis on remediation. Last year, for the first time, one of the superintendents finally said, you know, you've got to accelerate. And so sometimes it takes 3 or 4 years, but now they're kind of on this band, because what I do is show them the data. You know, we've got one elementary partner that has a gifted program. That gifted program limits its enrollment to 5% of its highest test takers in 3rd grade. And my hypothesis is that they really check deeply at that. They probably are getting disproportionately their richest kids in 3rd grade. They're entering based on their 3rd grade scores. By comparison, Maine South has over 50% of its kids taking accelerated dual credit and APs and taking college courses or accelerated courses, which has proved to me that that 5% is a totally artificial construct. And what we ought to be doing in school is reimagining how to enrich every kid, get rid of labels like gifted and go to talent. Every kid's got talent. Our job is to figure out how we take that talent and grow it. So some of it's just a slow pivot away from this exclusivity of gifted programs. And then I'm not denigrating, I'm saying publicly what I've said to the folks that run those programs, but we need to shift in thinking. So we're going to get after this as a high school district in partnership with our elementary to try to see if we can just genuinely grow enrichment programs for kids in the elementary school in partnership with not instead of in partnership with. So we're going to get after that question probably a little bit more holistically. I've got some thoughts on recruiting males. You know, what's happening at the college, and this is true. I mean, they've lowered the cuts for males so that because colleges are finding out, especially selective colleges, that 70% of their enrollment is female. And so they've had to artificially cut to, that's really what's happening.
Do you think if you get them in the room,
Yes,
you're
when
going to
we
get
get
them?
people in the room, young men and young women, apply, they apply at the same rate. So it's just, it really does seem to be, the key seems to be getting them to our info meetings with their parents. I don't know if the parent is the magic factor, or we're just so exciting to listen to, but if they get in the info section, men and women apply at very high rates. So it's just getting them there.
It's a combination. It is, I think the parents are a big piece of that. And I think what we like to try to do is try to, especially, you know, among our most neediest population is our Hispanic population that comes through the Midwest. It's generally needy across the district, but it's profoundly needy at Midwest. And these are really, really good families, really good people who are just trying to keep the lights on and keep kids fed and keep them housed and clothed and everything else. How can we, knowing that, how can we go in and interact in a way that maybe the connection starts early? Maybe if some of these kids we connect with in 1st grade or 2nd grade, we keep that connection instead of reaching out in 7th or 8th grade. A lot of things are sort of settled by 7th or 8th grade, for better or for worse.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, that's something that anything that the district does, if we were talking about math, anything that the district does at the elementary level that you feel like it makes sense for us to partner with, we'd be eager to do so. We also have been experimenting with some different outreach. We worked with the libraries a couple years back to try to get some info sessions with community members. We're right now reaching out to some churches in the area to try to do info sessions where people are already going. Again, to target younger families to get information, just general college access information about affordability and the supports that are out there, so that college, the idea of college and affordable college is on as many people's radar as possible, to keep that door open for us when we are able to enter more fully in middle school and school.
And obviously that's something that we're committed to here. We're just about complete. We've got another course or two developed to do our 415 program. And that's just the beginning. I really think that, you know, in just a few short years, we'll be looking at, instead of 15 hours of credit, maybe a year, maybe, you know, what I'd really like to get to is a place where kids can get their associate's degree. That's the bill that we're trying to have.
Any other questions?
No, thank you guys.
Thank
for
you
everything.
very much.
And they put a lot of resources into our kids, and they do the enrichment, the level of enrichment that, you know, wish every kid could get.
Do you have enough?
In addition to Christmas month, it is Custodian Day today, recognizing custodians. And while don't have any here publicly. I know Audrey and the buildings have said some really nice things out. Just a reminder that we have an early 20th century building and 2 mid-20th century buildings, and I think Maine can be very proud of taking exceptional care of them, using everything exceptional care of them. So we've got really good staff who are very professional in helping us do that.
Thank you, Karen. Any updates from board members?
I'd like to congratulate, I went to see Peter Pan at meetings, the kids did a great job. And so, thank you. And also, I just want to, whenever I see high school kids out doing great things, I think that's a positive thing to share. And I went over to the replica, the Vietnam Wall replica over in Des Plaines in the weekend. And there were high school kids volunteering with the veterans to take care of the site. And it's just, it always makes me feel really proud when I see those kids that are volunteering, because they're our kids. Just wanted to call attention to that.
Anyone else? Education committee update.
The Education Committee met on September 18th. We had a very in-depth, allotted for a short time, but it just shows that we ended up 30 minutes having an update from our assistant director for special education, Ed Bazinski, who provided an overview of how our students are identified for special education and the services that are provided for them. And it was a great discussion, a great in-depth questioning, which really provoked us or made us realize that we need to have that special ed presented to the board at least once or twice a year. There's just some great content. I don't want to review it all in exhaustive detail here, but there was a great presentation. There was a great discussion. With the new hybrid schedule coming in 2018-19, that'll allow additional time for resources for support for the special education program as well. And that was discussed and how that might be enhanced as well. New course proposals at our September meeting, before our September meeting, we were going to launch courses in classes. At the education meeting, a new AP Chinese, Mandarin Chinese was introduced, bringing our total of AP classes to 33. Once we have to read that first reading classes that were introduced in September, as well as that one tonight. Also discussed kind of tying with the new hybrid schedule. There's a State of Illinois currently has a seat time waiver of 5 hours per day, where a student is required to be physically at school. With the hybrid schedule coming into play in the future, that needs to be more flexible, and you can get a waiver if you show that. There's discussions on how that waiver will be obtained. And then finally, there was another discussion about Pathway Manager, which is a tool for counseling students and their pathway model. That's going to be explored in further date. This tool will have that.
Okay. Finance committee update.
Finance committee met on the 20th, it was called order 5 p.m. We were joined by President Owen. So we had a quorum. We covered 4 topics, primarily the audit was covered in that. There is no management letter, and there's no comments on the audit. So we also looked at the proposed 2017 tax levy, how business going back out, and the insurance.
Thank you, Sean. Okay, monthly status of finances. Mary?
In your board packet is the July financial statement. On the revenue side, you'll see 2 funds with revenue peaks. That is capital projects fund and O&M fund. They are both related to the $8.4 million transfer to pay for the boilers, because it had to go into the O&M fund and then ultimately to the capital project fund to be tracked because it's bonded indebtedness. You'll see the same 2 spikes in expenses. One, the working cash fund, where that transfer originated, then to the O&M fund, where it stayed, where it visited, and then went to the capital project fund. Everything else is in line with previous years even before the month of July. I'll entertain any questions that anybody has on the July financial statements.
Okay.
And I just want to note that we got notification from Moody's a few days ago that we had achieved the AAA rating again. So just want to acknowledge Ms. Kluger, great work she achieved that last year. That's kind of an interesting thing in this time of fiscal uncertainty and state of Illinois. So this will recognize very important for continued great work.
I'm going to loop back to, just as a board member update, Mary was also on a panel for the League of Women Voters last week, where she had to talk about difficult topics to explain, and she did a great job. The new budget, the law that passed, and also we had a presentation on the tax bill, which a lot of people found very interesting. So thank you, Mary, you did a great job there. Okay, instructional services, Sean?
Yeah, so we have 3 reports this month. It's the last ACT report that we'll deliver in this particular format. Now that our students have switched over to the SAT, this year's graduating class is the last one that have taken the full series of EPAS tests, with ACT being the capstone of those. Just very briefly, again, District 207 on average scores above the state and national average. And if you were to look at the longitudinal report, all 3 schools are within a few tenths of a percentage point of what their performance has been over the last 8 to 10 years. So a nice achievement by the schools. Any questions on the ACT report? Okay, the next is an informational item around the National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. So there you have listed our students who are commended students for the district, and then also our semi-finalists for the district are listed there. That puts them in the running. The semi-finalists are put in the running for the finalist scholarships, which usually occur in May and June. And then lastly, we have our summer school update. There are just the raw numbers there on attendance, as well as the financial report related to summer school. So any questions on those topics?
Anything in the financials that pops out as different or much in line with how it always is?
We continue to lose about the same amount on summer school. The vast majority of that is in special education. I think that one of the changes that will actually help improve that is with the athletic directors moving to 12 months, their summer hours were charged to athletics, so that won't be the case anymore. That'll shift out of there. But we continue to provide summer scholarships, which we are under no requirement to do, that would offset the losses. But we feel that those scholarships allow the students to really come in and take either a head class or a remedial class that they may otherwise not be able to do, and it keeps them on track.
In a lot of cases, we provide that enrichment needs to so it helps that advance to the next level of course with the college course. So I know that's happened in the West in particular last summer. Particularly in math.
So it's about in line. And it will actually be a little bit better.
It'll get a little bit better.
Well, I won't hold you to that. Sure. Okay. Any questions on any of that? Okay. Ken, monthly update on FOIA requests?
We have 5 this month, and most of them have been processed, but we have a couple still processing.
Application for recognition of schools. Greg, you just want to give a quick.
Yeah, it's an annual report that we submit to the Illinois State Board of Education, just signing off that we're following all the rules and regulations set forth by the Illinois State Board of Education, and recognize our compliance audits that occur every 5 years. So this is just a routine thing that we do. The board doesn't have to approve it, but we give it to the board as an informational item.
It's the first time we have an annual report.
Yeah, they just changed the law.
Okay, could I have a motion on the consent agenda? That is A through E, 7A through E. Second, thank you. Okay. Jim, can you take the roll?
Austriaco, Bessler, Collins,
I abstain from 7A. I vote in favor.
Coyle?
Lee, Sullivan,
Owen? Aye. Could I have a motion on item 8, the approval of the 2016-2017 audit?
So in your packet was both what's called the comprehensive annual financial report, more commonly referred to as the audit. There are two components that if you read nothing else of that over 100-page document, I would encourage you to read the management discussion and analysis, which is a summary of our financial performance for the year, as well as the notes and financial statements. Those two areas provide a significant amount of information on our financial performance and the overall, how our assets are doing, how our pensions are, and a host of other information. When you take a look at how we performed, while we added over $13 million of fund balance, that was not unexpected. We sold $10 million in bonds, which we've now spent this year, which caused us to have a deficit this year. And then we had a $3.2 million surplus in the self-insurance fund. That is restricted revenue, and it is restricted for insurance purposes. As you'll see a little bit later on, insurance had a good year. We're very happy about that. But other than those two items, we were within about $100,000 of our budget to actual performance, which is pretty good for the size of our gap. So I'll entertain any questions on your behalf. As Board Member Sullivan stated, at the Finance Committee, Auditor Casella was there and went through the audit in some length.
One thing I would say is just on the insurance performance in particular, that's, and I've said this before, but I just want to remind people, that's an example of, say, bipartisan, for lack of a better term in my head. That really is it's collaborative. That really is an MTA and Board Administrative Committee that has worked together over the years to really control costs. And it's kind of unprecedented, but it really has worked really, really well. And it's helped us perform. You know, we only need to look around at some of our districts around us and do performance comparisons, but it's really has done its job. It's worked. We're all in the same insurance program together. I think that helps, and so that has helped that work really well. So congratulations on that. That's a good piece of news.
And everyone has that in their board packet.
Yes, if anybody would like paper copies of either the audit or the FR, just let me know. We chose to give them to you electronically, by and large, so that you could save them and refer back to them as often as you would like.
There's no other questions? Ginny, would you take the roll, please?
Sullivan?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Coyle?
Aye.
Collins?
Aye.
Bessler? Austriaco? Owen?
Aye. Okay, could I have a motion on item 9, insurance renewal?
So moved. Okay,
Let's
in
talk
your
about this.
board packet is the recommendation. Every year we set the premiums for all of the medical insurance, the medical, the dental, and this year as we've looked at the performance and the trend line, because we are self-insured, we could have done a premium reduction of 14%. But we know medical inflation is increasing, so that would have guaranteed that for 2019, we would have had a premium increase, at least to medical inflation. So as we discussed it as a committee, and we've done in the past, we also have entertained the concept of a premium holiday. And that is where neither the employee or the board pay for their insurance, but we use the fund balance that we just grew by $3.2 million to kind of offset any increases that we would have. And then for 1 year, 1 month, month of December, and then we hold premiums flat so that perhaps we could go 2 years without a premium increase in the self-insurance fund. So the committee is recommending that on the medical side, in the HMO, the PPO, the HSA, holding the premium flat, instituting a premium holiday for the entire month of December, both paychecks, a 3.1% increase on the dental PPO, a 0% increase on the dental HMO. The dental HMO is a fully insured product, it offers greater coverage at a lower cost because of its limited network. So I also included a summary of the coverages so that the board had some information on kind of what the insurance coverages look like through the various medical programs that we offer. And we also saw no increase in our Section 125 administration fee, our life insurance, and our long-term disability. So this was a really good insurance year, and I echo everyone's, it is the insurance committee, a lot of the savings I think is attributed to both the district and the MTA coming together and looking at, and educating people on what it means to be self-insured, how the decisions that each individual makes helps maintain the plan, and if we all kind of look at it and find ways to save money on our insurance, the cumulative impact can be substantial.
Sometimes you can't avoid the big claims.
Sometimes you can't avoid
Just
the big
can't, but
claims.
it's great to see all these zeros and the holidays.
And I have to say, this is especially this day and age when everyone's talking about how expensive health insurance is, and it is. This is a huge achievement, and I think it's really great that we give teachers also that holiday, 1 month holiday.
Just a quick question on, do you have any particular expensive big claim, medical claims for this particular year?
We always have, given a group our size, we always have large claims. In this year, we had a little bit of stop loss on the E&O, but it was substantially down from previous years where we've had 3 or 4 stop loss claims.
And when you also mentioned this year you had a great claims year, which means compared to, let's say, previous year or last year, how great claims year they can be?
Our actual costs were $3 million less than the premium we took in. If you had trended that up, we would still have recommended a premium decrease, but in order to kind of stabilize the premium and not have to look forward to an increase next year is why we did the premium holiday. I think that one of the major shifts that we did, and through the first 2 quarters, we've seen about a $600,000 savings on our prescription drug. We went with a new prescription drug program through Express Scripts and RX Benefits, and we went into it last year at this time thinking if we save half of what they're telling us we're going to save, we'll be happy. And our numbers are almost to the penny what they told us we would save. And $600,000 for a half a year.
We remember the one
Great
that
number.
Greg's mentioned where we had,
Yeah.
multi-$100,000 prescription that the employee didn't even know about. And so, I mean, that's one example, and that was a.
So compared to previous year deductibles premiums, so single teachers pay $37.90 per month, and family pays $13.
Yes.
And we school pays what percentage? Or?
We pay 95% of single coverage and 80% of family coverage.
All right, there's no other questions. We'll take a vote, please. Coyle?
Aye.
Lee? Dessler? Austriaco? Sullivan? Collins? Owen? Aye. Okay, on item 10, I have a motion. I think we have to break this down because I think we have to waive the first reading on 2 of the courses.
So you would be waiving the first reading on those courses in your, in the book, and a little plus next to them.
So there's the AP Mandarin Chinese.
AP Mandarin Chinese, and then the personal auto, CTE skills, and fine arts skills.
So, yeah, so we have a motion to waive the first reading.
I'll move to waive the first reading on Mandarin and
CTE skills. Yeah.
so.
Is there a second? Questions?
Bessler? Sullivan? Coyle? Collins? Austriaco? Lee? Owen?
Aye. Now could I have a motion to approve on second reading the new course proposals? questions on this? We have gone over these past new course proposals.
I will just
Yeah.
real quick on the new ones that we haven't seen before. AP Mandarin Chinese enables students who are in that course to actually earn the AP recognition on their transcript. So that's a nice move in the right direction. Personal auto is actually a course that is the most practical course in auto. It's not about the future. Career in autos is about maintaining your own personal vehicle. And then CTE skills and fine art skills in particular, I think are nice additions to our course catalogs because they are meant to bring both our regular education students and some of our students who are our needier special ed students together in a course. And it really does broaden the offerings in these areas for our special education students who have high needs. So it'll be a really nice package for them as they stay with us, in some cases beyond 4 years, to experience a really wide breadth of classes.
For example, the AP Mandarin and Chinese courses, so currently the regular courses, you guys already had it for the past 2 years, right?
Mandarin, yes, we have. What this does is it enables our students who are Mandarin Chinese 4 to actually get AP recognition on the transcript. Anyone can take an AP test. You don't actually have to be in the course to take an AP test. But what this enables us to do is make sure that transcript recognition is there for them, so when they're applying to colleges, it's stand out.
Just for the curiosity, what is the average classes of students that you visit?
The number of students?
Just general, yeah. We have decent good participation.
Well, I think South is really only one, it's really a small group of students. So we don't have, I think right now, and Ben, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, I think we have Mandarin Chinese 1, and then I want to say, I think the rest are actually comboed together.
Correct.
Throughout the day.
Correct.
So what I mean by combo together is you can have students who are in Mandarin Chinese 2 through 4 accelerated in the same class. So it's a rather small group of students who came to school.
And you have only one teacher who's teaching the.
Correct.
Part-time. Yeah, it doesn't have to stand.
It does not.
Any questions? Ginny, would you take the roll?
Coyle? Austriaco? Vessler? Lee? Sullivan? Collins? Owen?
Aye. I have a resolution, can I have a motion to recognize our principals, national principals, and what? This is adopting a resolution to honor the service of all high school principals and to recognize the importance of the leadership so that every child has access to a quality education, to celebrate school living accomplishments. So we recognize October 2017 as National
I think there's 31 days. There's 31 days, too. We picked that one, didn't we?
I thought about you. You had the day off. Actually, I shared some, you had the day off. There you go. I shared some Google Docs with you, actually. I shared an idea with you.
That is not a reward, right?
Wait, it was a pretty good idea.
It's always a reward, always.
It was a pretty good idea, I thought.
Before this gets out of
I'll share
Ginny,
more with you.
Ginny, would you please take the roll?
Vessler? Austriaco? Lee? Collins? Coyle? Sullivan? Owen?
Aye. I have a motion on item 12, waiver of facility rental.
Second.
Okay. Audrey, this is
For gymnastics
Gymnastics.
program, it's a feeder program, the students come directly into Maine West. It's been growing, and we've finally been seeing the fruits of our labor of letting them in, because they're now high school students, and they are so much better than when we didn't have a feeder program. So it's a reciprocal agreement that we have with our district that we'd like to keep going.
and they're there in the.
In the evenings when we are finished, yeah.
Just for a question related to, so when we do these free waivers on all these program services, if any accidents happens, does our insurance from the district or school covers, or
We
they have their own
require
insurance?
insurance for anybody that uses our facilities.
They're required to give us insurance.
We do waive fees, we never waive insurance.
And I've heard you say that many times.
We've learned that from Mary.
Yes, yes. Okay. Okay,
Austriaco. Collins. Bessler. Sullivan. Lee. Coyle. Owen.
Aye. Okay, calendar items. We are showing again the various committee meetings that are set up. There's a Cook Fall dinner meeting, if anyone plans to go to that, I am planning to go to that. Please let Jeannie know. And then there is the board governance workshop on October 10th. Next Tuesday.
Can you just quickly check if anybody's will be attending the IASD dinner on October 18th?
Yeah, that's the one, yeah, that's the one. I'm going.
another one?
Yeah,
Cool.
okay, so there'll be some of us there. Okay. Are there any other communications or public comments?
Is there not a finance meeting?
There is not a finance meeting. Yeah.
Okay, Sean, when you find out that we got a AAA rating, he said we'll take the month off.
If you attend, it will go really fast.
Okay, all right. Could I have a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of reviewing closed session minutes, probable imminent or pending litigation, and collective negotiating matters? Can you take the roll?
Lee. Collins. Austriaco. Coyle. Bessler. Owen. Sullivan. Thank you.